On the 30th, the very next day, to the magistrate in chambers, he says he's not sure if the suspect is still a member of parliament. And also, Sergeant Mavuka says that his investigation, just further up, and I know it's terrible, but this is what they gave us. This is the copy they gave us, but we have a clearer copy taken on phone.
What page are you on?
128 still.
Okay.
He tells the magistrate that his investigation has revealed that the suspect has multiple addresses in multiple provinces. And I do feel, commissioners, that he must come here and prove that, because I've never lived outside of Cape Town, and for the last 20 years I've never lived out of Mitchell's Plain. And the longest I've ever been out of the Western Cape was maybe 5 or 6 days when I'm busy with my work. I've never lived outside of the province. So for a detective with 15 years of experience to go to before a magistrate in order to attain a warrant arrest for a Schedule 1 accusation which asks for no more than a warning statement. He says that this man has multiple provinces across the, multiple addresses across the country, number one. And number two, despite the fact that yesterday I admitted he's a member of parliament, today I'm telling you I'm unsure if he's a member of parliament. A simple Google search could have fixed that for him. And on this basis, a warrant of arrest was granted. And this is what I feel I must draw to your attention. Now, if you look at 127, this is how they comply to a court order compelling them to hand over the documents. That is what they think of the High Court. This is what the PKTT does. So, what I'm saying to you, commissioners, is that after I'd been alerted that the PKTT were going to trump up a case against me. Now, I understand this is before the court, I don't want to talk too much. I emailed General Mkwanazi and the National Commissioner, Mr. Masimola, and the Minister of Police, and I said, if you have a valid warrant, don't send the PKTT to me. And it says so in my annexures here. I'll come to you. What do? They don't respond. They send the PKTT like 2 weeks later. A family is assaulted and traumatized because they go to the wrong house. But they refuse to give names. They did not clock in at the local police station, which is a requirement. And it is for this reason that I ask, is this a hit squad? Are these people coming to kill or to arrest? And it's on this basis that we go to the High Court asking to see the warrant. The High Court says, yes, we feel that you are entitled to this. What does the PKTT do? They ignore the High Court. They arrest me anyway. What do they do then? They lie to my family. They say they're taking him to Grassy Park. But you must remember, this is in the middle of a storm. They put me in the back of a van. They drove me 8 hours. It stopped raining when we got to PE. Commissioner, have you ever been relieved to be inside of a police cell? I was, because it was dry. I was not afforded clean clothing, my medication, everything in night. They didn't even tell my family where I was. The next day, they continued to drive to Durban. They still didn't tell my family where I was. Now remember, I'm under the impression that the PKTT is a hit squad, parts of it. What is my family to think? What are my children to think? After observing the behavior of these people, they came onto the precinct of Parliament. Even when I told them, just wait, I'm just going to get a jacket and a pair of socks, I'll come to you. They invaded Parliament. Parliament did not take action. And all of this because I opened criminal charges. The head of the PKTT, Dumisani Kumalo, the man who was on trial for cases that I laid. His bail conditions forbid him from tampering with witnesses. This went ahead. I get to court. My bail is it's contested as if I'm a serial rapist. The prosecutor tells the court that I was divorced in my bail application. The prosecutor is named in the affidavit that they claim I took, or in an affidavit they claim I took, in a negative way. At the very least, he should have recused himself. I also ask you, just to look at the statement of Sergeant Carlton Thomas. If I can, I saw it now, and now to find it.
Can you please try to summarize it?
I'm finishing, Chief. Justice.
I'm not Chief, please.
Sorry, Buta. It's just that's how we address an elder in Cape Town. Sorry, Commissioner. So Carlton Thomas, he alleges, Sergeant Carlton Thomas, a man that I've never met, he alleges that Sergeant Mavuka and Sergeant Sikona, who happened to be my arresting officer and my investigating officer, months before my arrest, held him in General Mkwanazi's boardroom, demanding that he make a statement implicating me in my trip from the airport to Westville Prison, which he refused to do. Now, what I'm trying to get at Commissioner, is Sergeant Carlton Thomas could have no way of knowing that this is the man who's investigating me and this is the man who will eventually arrest me. But he puts it on paper months in advance. And I'm going to end it there because, like I say, the matter is before the courts and I shouldn't talk about it. But I think that essentially concludes what I came to say. Thank you. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. So, Mr. Adams, then those are the only statements that you want to refer to, correct?
There is something else that I think I forgot, but we can even do that.
No, in terms
I'm
of
hearing
the
moans there.
statements. No. I mean the statements. There's no other statements that bears your name that you submitted to the commission that you say should be part of.
No, Advocate.
Okay. Can we then go back to your main statement, which is in file 1?
Can we put away 2 in the
2,
meantime?
yes, you can put away 2 and 4. I think that's the supplementary. So you can put away 2 and 4.
2 and 4.
And if you could perhaps keep with you file 9B.
Just give me 1 second, please. 2 and 4. I've got 9B. Thank you, ma'am.
So file 1 is your statement that you read into the record earlier, and I want to start on page 38.
I found it. Thank
Yes.
you.
Because the reason why you are here is because of the Section 27 referral to IDAC. You do know that,
Yes, ma'am.
correct? And what the aspects that we want to address with you really, I think, starts on page 38, which the genesis of all of this is the documents that you say you received on the floor of your parliamentary office in October
Yes, ma'am.
2024. Now, in your affidavit on page 38, at paragraph 293, you say that you presume that the documents had been pushed under your door because you found it on the floor when you opened the door.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. And you say that this was in the last week of October 2024. That's what you say in
Yes,
here.
ma'am.
Okay. Now, can you just describe to us whether it was in an envelope, how thick were the documents, how many pages, just so we can get a sense of what it is that you had received?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you, Commissioners. It was in an envelope, ma'am. It was a brown envelope. It looked official, like the normal official documents come in. It wasn't very thick. There might have been, at a maximum, 10, maybe 11 pages. Some pages were duplicated, some weren't.
And there was no writing on the envelope or anything?
None.
Okay. An A4?
A4 size, yes.
Okay. And you say this was in the last week of October 2024?
Yes, ma'am.
Can we then just briefly deal with the contents of the envelope? What was contained in the envelope?
So I have not seen this evidence in 18 months, but yes, what was in the envelope was there was confirmation of payment for a heister. There was a letter of loss, and there were documents pertaining, a document pertaining to the polygraph of General Madondo. Those were essentially what was in that document, ma'am.
So that was in relation to the forklift
Yes, ma'am.
procurement issue.
What
So
we call a heister in Cape Town, a forklift.
and when you say the polygraph in respect of General Madondo, what was it?
It was, I would struggle to be able to explain it to you now, but essentially the document was marked top secret. And the document also, it basically explained that she had failed the polygraph. I know there was other information on there. I think it was pertaining to family that I did not want to look at because that's not water I swim in. And for me, it was just a case of top secret. Okay, this looks dangerous. And not knowing what to do with the document at the time, I read it again to understand what's going on here and thought to myself, I need to do something about this.
Can I just understand when you say stuff about her family, what was it?
I almost think that family members' names were on the document, madam.
Do you recall if it was vetting documents, so personal information of General
There
Matondo?
was some personal information. I cannot tell you if it was a vetting document.
Okay. And that was all that was contained in
Yes,
that
ma'am.
Okay.
For example, the letter of loss, there was one copy. The forklift, there was one copy, but of her particular details, there was 2 copies of that.
And when you then look at these documents, you immediately think that you're not supposed to be in possession of these documents?
The one document,
Which is that?
the one which refers to a polygraph and things, that one was marked. I'm now not sure if it was classified as top secret, but it was something in that order. I think it was top secret, actually.
And insofar as the forklift documents are concerned, what gave you an indication that this was related to crime intelligence?
Well, after I read the document, it essentially said that we've paid X amount for a forklift. And then when I read the letter of loss, it essentially said that the forklift has never been delivered. Now, what I do know about crime intelligence, without knowing who the people are, is I knew who the 2IC from crime intelligence was, and I quickly found out that General Lushaba was in actual fact the CFO of crime intelligence.
Okay. And so with those documents, what did you do next?
Ma'am, the first thing that I did was I walked to the office. No, not the first thing. I sat down. I first tried to make head or tail of it. I tried to call my good friend Andre Lincoln. He didn't answer his phone. I think it was too early. I then heard Sakina's door, and I walked next door and I said to her, I think we've just uncovered or walked into a massive thing. I did not show her the documents, but I did give her an explanation of what was in there. Then
Okay.
I went about my day because I didn't know what I should do with these documents other than take it to SAPS. The evening I went to General Andre Lincoln's house, and he told me the best thing to do with this is to go and lay a charge.
That would have been the evening of
That
what?
same
What
evening.
date? Okay. Now, in your statement, you say it was the last week of October 2024. When you meet with IDAC in 2025, 6 January 2025, with Advocate Ramsamy, Mr. Rapesu, and Mr. Perumal, you told them it was in early October 2024. Do you recall that?
I don't recall that, but it is not beyond me to make a mistake like that. I don't recall that. I might have. I'm not saying I didn't, but I honestly, if I think about it, in my mind's eye, it was the last week of October.
Okay, there is, if you go to 9B,
9B.
yeah, the file 9B that I'd ask you to look at. In fact, if I could ask you, you should also have in front of you file 9. File 9.
Let me just check if I have the witness bundle 9B. Okay, the file.
Yes,
Right,
and
okay.
file 9.
So where must I go? Where would you like me to go, Advocate?
Do you have file 9?
I have file now.
Page 3489.
Thanks, Victor. I'll find it. 3,489.
Yes. 3489 in file 9.
I have it, ma'am.
I'll get to 9B. Thank you.
I have it.
Okay. Now, before we deal with this document, it's a supplementary affidavit. Do you see that?
I do.
And can we, before we deal with the contents, go to page 3490?
3490.
The next page, yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Is that your signature?
That is my signature.
And do you remember that this affidavit was commissioned by Mr. Rapesu in Cape Town on the 6th of January 2025?
This was commissioned in Cape Town.
Okay.
I am just mindful and careful of the fact that I have laid a criminal charge against the IDAC. So I don't know how deep I want to go into this, but you can ask your question.
Yes, you will, when you get to that point where you feel you can't answer a question, we will then assess whether or not it is a question that you should answer nonetheless. But for now, I just want to establish that you confirm that these are your supplementary affidavits that were commissioned by Mr. Rapesu on the 6th of January 2025 in Cape Town during that consultation.
That is my signature.
Okay. The next one is at page 3491. And the signature on page 3492. Sorry, not 3492. It's on page, there's one that has a missing, so 3494. And the affidavit starts on 3493. I'll deal with the one that I dealt with previously because there's a page with your signature that's not there. But
That too is my-
3493,
That too is my signature.
and you confirm 3494 is your signature.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, if you look at the first one that we had looked at, if I can also ask you to go to 3487.
I'm there.
And then there's a signature on page 3488. Fadiel Adams, is that your signature?
That is my signature.
Okay. And then 3485. And there's a signature on 3486.
I can confirm.
Okay. Now, can we go back to 3485? It's a supplementary affidavit.
Yes, ma'am.
And in paragraph 2 of the affidavit, it says, on or about early October 2024, I received information anonymously surrounding alleged crimes emanating from the Division Crime Intelligence of the South African Police Service. So here you say early October 2024. In your statement now, you say at page 38, at paragraph 293, you say last week of October. And I think you will agree with me, last week of October is not early October.
They are far apart.
Okay.
I'm convinced it was the last week of October, and I think this is just a mistake over here. I mean, I understand that I signed for it, but I'm convinced it was the last week of October.
Okay, so we must accept then that you received the information in the last week of October.
Yes, please, ma'am.
And can you give us an estimation of when in the last week of October? Because we know, before you answer, and to be fair to you, on page 48 of your statement, at paragraph 385, do you have it?
Paragraph 385.
Yes.
Page 48.
48 of your statement.
Yes, ma'am.
You say, I opened criminal cases at Grand Central Police Station in Cape Town 2 days after receiving the documents. So you opened those cases on the 29th of October? Is that correct?
I'm trying to figure out what's here before me, ma'am. 16510-2024.
Do you have page 48?
Yes, I have with page 48,
Paragraph
paragraph 36.
385?
I opened criminal cases at 2 days after receiving the documents. That seems right.
And you say the cases are, and then you name the cases?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So if you go to page, and I think this is now also file 9, 3877, or is it file 9B?
38?
3877. My apologies, I'm working from the electronic bundle. So 3877 would be 9B.
Yes, ma'am, I have it. 9B.
Yes.
No, I've got 340. Sorry, my mistake. Thank you, Buddha. Yes, ma'am, I have it.
And you'll see the first page is the page of a docket. Do you have that?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
3877. You'd have to look carefully at it, but it is Cape Town, and the
29.
CAS number, you'll see it's that CAS number, one of your CAS number 165310-2024.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay? Now, if you go to the next page, 3878, at the bottom of that page, you'll see 2024-10-29.
Yes, ma'am.
So that's the 29th of October,
Confirmed.
2024, which means that you would have received the documents on the 27th of October, 2024.
I would think that would be around about right, yes.
Now, you say when you received these documents, you went to go and speak to, who was it, Miss?
Sakina.
Yes. But did you not also tell the IDAC officials that you also took the documents to Mr. Ian Cameron?
No, I mentioned it to Ian Cameron. I
Okay.
didn't take it to him.
And what was his attitude towards it?
He seemed genuinely worried.
Okay, and when would you have done that?
If it wasn't the same day, it would have been the next day, ma'am.
Okay, so you take it to Mr. Adams, and what is the reason for
Cameron.
taking it to Cameron? And what is the reason for taking it to him?
He's my portfolio chairperson. I didn't take it to him. I mentioned it to him. I said, I've got these documents. They look pretty serious. I did not take it to him. I did not hand it to him.
Okay, and you described it to him,
Yes, ma'am.
and you say he was serious about it.
He looked genuinely concerned. I told him I was going to lay a case.
Oh, you did tell him?
Yes.
Okay, and what did he say to that?
He said, no, it's the right thing to do.
So you mentioned the contents.
Yes,
You
ma'am.
told him what these documents
did.
are about.
I'm just sorry, man, just because it's 18 months ago. I'm just thinking, did I call him or did I go to him? But I know I spoke to him. I know that, but he seemed genuinely worried. And when I said, I'm going to lay a criminal charge, he said, it's the right thing to do.
Okay, so we know now you receive it 2 days before, according to you, and you discuss it with him either that same day or the next day. And you know that you have a duty to report, and that's why you're reporting it to him?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Does he say that something must be done about it in addition to the criminal investigation?
He did not, ma'am. He did not, actually. If I think about it, he didn't.
Did you not tell the IDAC team that he didn't seem interested in the information
No.
that you had?
I wouldn't have said that.
Okay. So I'm just trying to understand why you're opening up a criminal case if you've reported to the head of the portfolio committee. He seems to take it seriously. Don't you follow that process?
The head of the portfolio committee, just like me, just like the minister, doesn't have investigative power.
Okay, but why?
We are essentially glorified administrators. We don't have investigative power. Handing it to Ian Cameron would have still meant it needed to go to the police station. As a matter of fact, handing it to anyone would have been a criminal offense if indeed that document was top secret.
But what gave you the impression that it needed a criminal investigation? They didn't come with a note saying, please, can you have this investigated for me? I'm too scared to come forward.
Well, if we have paid, what was it, or close to R1 million, I'm unsure. If I'm wrong, please don't hold it against me, for a forklift, and the forklift is never delivered, that in my mind constitutes fraud or a loss of the SAPs. And also, if the 2IC of crime intelligence fails to pass a polygraph or has a criminal record, then she should not be the 2IC of crime intelligence. And I felt that warranted investigation as well. And then thirdly, with the other document was General Ushaba. If indeed he had staged a break-in and had allegedly defeated the ends of justice, that to my mind constitutes something that is worthy of an investigation. But I must add, advocate, that all I'm doing is I'm laying a criminal charge. The onus to investigate or to make a finding is not mine.
Yes, but I understood your evidence earlier to be that you would look at whether there was sufficient evidence or sufficient basis for you to go and lay those criminal charges. So that's what I'm trying to find out. You've reported it now to Mr. Cameron. There's something in it that must say to you that it must be criminally investigated. So that's the route that you decide to take. That's what you say, within 2 days of receiving that information.
Yes, advocate.
Or actually within a day because you speak to General Lincoln. that same
I spoke to
same
General
day?
Lincoln the same evening.
And General Lincoln is the general that has passed away.
He sadly passed away.
Okay.
Yeah, he's no longer here.
So you then go and you open up 3 cases
Yes, ma'am.
at Grand Central.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And those cases are opened on the 29th of October, 2024.
Yes, according to the records on the 29th, if you had asked me the question without the docket in front of me, I wouldn't be able to recall the date, but yes, on the 29th.
Okay. And then you say at paragraph, still on page 48 of your statement, you say that at 387, after not receiving a satisfactory response from the Western Cape Police and on the advice of late General Andre Lincoln, former head of the anti-gang unit whom I regularly consulted on policing matters, I proceeded to Johannesburg to open cases concerning the same matters in another province. Now, after not receiving a satisfactory response, what was the response, firstly?
I called Lieutenant General Patikile, and I also emailed then Minister Senzim Kuno, and I told them my dockets have gone missing.
No, you're jumping the gun in terms of the chronology. Don't you send the email to the minister on the 1st of November only?
Yes,
Yes, but you open up the Johannesburg cases at the end of October, the 31st of October, 2024.
yes.
So you couldn't have spoken to the minister before.
I sent 2 emails to the minister, ma'am, 10 days apart.
Yes.
If you will allow me just to check the dates,
I can tell you the dates.
Okay,
The
please.
1st of November, that's the first one. So
Yes.
we don't even need to go to the second one yet.
So what was the question then?
Asked you what was the response that you got at 387 so that we can find out why you found it not to be satisfactory such that you went then to go get advice from General Lincoln, who says to you go open it up in another province.
Yes.
So the response. So now remember we're on the 29th of October when you open the cases.
Yes, ma'am.
You receive a response that you're not happy with.
Yes, ma'am.
When do you receive that response?
I would not be able to tell you if it was the 30th or if it was the morning of the 1st. But I called, no, I'm just trying to explain to you. I didn't date it. I called General Patikile, and I think I may even have emailed him. If I can get my laptop up tonight, I'll see if, and I said that something is wrong, my dockets have gone missing according to General Andre Lincoln.
According to whom?
General Andre Lincoln
General Lincoln tells you that your dockets are gone.
told me
missing.
that, yes ma'am.
How would he know?
General Lincoln knew everything in the police, ma'am. That's why I always consulted with him.
Okay. Clear up the confusion for me. The case is opened on the 29th of October. You say by the 30th or the 31st, correct? That you are unhappy because you've been told that the dockets are missing. On 2 days later, a day or 2 days later, you're told that the dockets are missing.
My recollection is that the dockets disappeared on the same day. I remember the general calling me. I think it was the same day. And he said to me, they've intercepted your dockets. I'll tell you, from my mind's eye, I can tell you more or less what the conversation was. I said, General, is this regular? He said, no. I said, what does this mean? He says they're trying to stop this investigation. I think it was on the same day that the dockets disappeared that we knew about it.
Can I just clarify what you're saying in relation to your statement? At paragraph 387, you say after not receiving a satisfactory response from the Western Cape Police and on the advice of the late General Lincoln, I proceeded to Johannesburg. So we know that you've laid the charge on the 29th.
Yes, ma'am.
In paragraph 387, you tell us that you spoke to General Lincoln after you did not receive a satisfactory response from the Western Cape Police. So at which point do you not get that satisfactory response? Because in the way that you've said it here, the order or the chronology is you laid a complaint, then you didn't get satisfaction, and then you went and spoke to General Lincoln, and then you traveled to Johannesburg. So at which point do you get feedback that makes you speak to General Lincoln?
I'm not understanding the question fully, but if I'm giving you a wrong explanation, please just help me along. So On the 29th, yes, I think it's the 29th, General Lincoln called me and told me that my dockets had been intercepted. I would have called General...
This is the same day
Same day.
that you laid a complaint?
As I laid the cases, the dockets were taken.
Okay.
The next day, I called, it wouldn't have been the same day because it was after hours. I called General Patikile, and he told me that an investigation would ensue. I wasn't happy with that answer because all you need to do is find out who collected. That's why there's a chain of custody. And then I called General Lincoln back and said, what now? And he said, we'll lay it in another province. But he also advised me, I must tell you, to walk away. I said I won't.
Okay. Thank you.
So if I can just understand again from what you say in 387, because I don't think it's still clear. After not receiving a satisfactory response from the Western Cape Police, so you inquired from the Western Cape Police.
Yes.
And what was your inquiry with them? And Western Cape Police, you distinguish from General Lincoln. In your own statement, you say, after not receiving a satisfactory response from the Western Cape Police and on the advice of the late General Andre Lincoln. So he's not the one that you inquired about your dockets?
No, ma'am. He's the one that told me that the dockets had gone missing.
Okay. So what does the person that you inquire with say to you that makes you not happy with their response?
It was a very generic response. I expected a little bit more. It was, yeah, we'll look into the matter.
But what was your query?
My query was my dockets have disappeared. It's a very serious matter.
No, but how, you see, this is what's the missing link. How do you know your dockets have disappeared? Because in 387, it seems that you engage General Lincoln after you received an unsatisfactory response to a query. It's not that he tells you that the dockets have gone missing. You then inquire with the Western Cape and then go back to him, and he says to you, go to another province.
I think the sequence is gone missing, ma'am.
Okay,
what
fix
happens
it
is
for us.
I've laid the cases in the morning. I'm getting a call early evening or late afternoon to say, they've intercepted your dockets. I asked, who's they? He said, I'm going to find out. I said, is this procedural? He said, not a chance.
Does this mean, on this explanation, that after you got the documents in the way that you say you did, you spoke to General Lincoln, told him what is in those documents, and told him you're going to lay a police complaint?
Yes, yes, Advocate Beloy. Commissioner Beloy. That's exactly what happened.
And you told him which police station you're going to?
No, I did not.
So how would you know that your dockets are missing?
He called me in the morning and he asked me, are you still laying the charges? And that's the time when I told him where I was.
Okay. Thank you.
So you spoke to him in the morning as well?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Can I ask you to go to 3877 again, which is in file 9B?
3877, I'm there.
In file 9B.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have it?
3877, sorry. Is it 3477 or 3877?
3877. Just let me know when you have it.
Essentially at the
It's in
last-
file 9B. Somebody will assist you.
Oh, this is file 9. One page back. I'm the advocate.
Okay. So, if I understand your evidence, then General Lincoln calls you later that day, later on the 29th,
Yes, ma'am.
and says to you your dockets have been intercepted.
Yes, ma'am.
But, and so if you look at the time on page 3877 where it's got date and time, 20.
Where's that, ma'am?
So there's a, on the left hand side, date and time. Do you see that?
I don't.
It has, I can't see what that
Is
is.
it top or
It says
bottom?
Cape Town. Do you see Cape Town written in manuscript?
Yes, I do.
Then case docket, there's a cross. Then go 1, 2 lines down. The next line, date and time.
I'm still not seeing it, ma'am.
Okay. There's a time there that says 14:30.
So it was in the morning.
14,
I see that, ma'am.
yes. 2024-10-20
I see that now.
at 14:30. So that's at 2:30 in the afternoon.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, your docket is processed at 2:30 in the afternoon. So it wasn't in the morning, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So at 2:30 in the afternoon, that is when you at the police station opening these cases, correct?
That is right. It's
Okay.
actually very unusual for me to still be in Cape Town at 2:30. I'm normally there at 6 and I'm gone by 1:30. But
Okay.
be that as it may.
It was clearly an unusual
definitely.
day. Yes. So by 2:30, that's when your dockets are processed, and later that same afternoon, you get told by General Lincoln that your dockets have disappeared.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
We must. I think the best. Wait. Okay, I'll keep that. Thank you.
Oh, you don't want
Was
to?
he based at this police station?
General Andre Lincoln was the head of the AGU. He was the first head of the AGU, ma'am. So in actual fact, he was. I wouldn't say based at every police station, but he was known at every police station.
Yeah, he was known, but where was he based?
I don't even know if the AGU does have a base. To be honest with you, I wouldn't be able to tell you.
So you're unable to say that on the day he was at this police station, therefore?
No, I don't know.
It must follow. You don't know.
I don't
that
know.
on the day he was on this police.
I don't think he was at the police station.
Thank you.
Now, just look at page 3811, which is the investigation diary.
In which book is this now, ma'am?
This is still 3881. We were now at that same file.
38?
3881.
Oh, 38. Yes, ma'am.
It's an investigation diary station, Cape Town.
Yes, ma'am.
It's got there 2024-10-29, 29, October 2024 at 2:30.
Yes, ma'am.
It speaks about the statement of the complainant, and then it says modus operandi, talks about your allegations. Then at 8 o'clock, 8:05, charge of nepotism that is reflecting on the docket does not reflect on the ICDMS, which means that the docket cannot be registered. After telephonic conversation with Captain Savi, I think investigating officer, he suggested to change the charge to defeating the ends of justice for the docket to be registered. You see that? So that's at 8 o'clock in the evening.
I see that, ma'am.
Okay. Now, you're saying between 2:30 and 8 o'clock, you were told that the docket was missing.
It was definitely before 8 o'clock, ma'am.
Okay. But you can see here that the docket was still being registered. They were saying after telephonic conversation, the investigating officer suggested to change the charge to defeating the ends of justice for the docket to be registered.
I see that. I can't explain this. I think the best person to explain when the docket went missing would be Peter Jacobs, General Peter Jacobs. I understand what you're saying 100%, that at 8:05 they were still working on the docket. That is what this is, and I mean it's an official document. Fact of the matter is it was definitely before 8 o'clock. I'm not going to tell you it was 9 o'clock. It was definitely before 8 o'clock.
No, but he's not, General Jacobs can't be the best person to explain that. It would have to be General Lincoln who told you that the dockets had gone missing. What would General Jacobs have to do with this?
General Jacobs is the one that they found the dockets within Pretoria. That's why I'm saying General Lincoln is not here. So the
When-
next best person to speak on the issue would be General Jacobs. I certainly can't speak on this because I wasn't here, if you understand what I'm saying. I'm telling you that my phone call with General Lincoln was late afternoon to early evening. It was definitely before 8 o'clock. That I can tell you.
And do you then call the police station to find out whether your docket is in fact missing?
I wouldn't call the police station. I called the provincial commissioner. And that was the next day. I said to him, General Patikile, I've been told my dockets have been taken. And I was told that we will look into it. Which to me, that the response just wasn't urgent enough.
Can I just understand why you say it wasn't urgent enough? You opened this case the day before, the 29th. You get told that same day that your docket is missing from somebody who's not actually stationed at that station. You call the provincial commissioner the next day. You're not happy with what response? When was he supposed to come back to you? What was where's the absence of urgency? You're not happy with it.
Considering the fact, Advocate, that we are faced, the community I live in, that I serve in, we are faced with the sickness of dockets disappearing. And it's generally just something you hear about. And now this is my own experience. And the information that I had could implicate seniors in SAPS. I was expecting the general to say, come to my office, or meet me at the police station, or meet me at the police station tomorrow. That was the response I was half expecting, or hoping for rather. And then I didn't get that. Now, I don't know, people that know me say I should have rollerblades because I want everything done now, and sometimes unfairly. But in this instance, I did not think it was unfair to expect a swifter response.
Can I just get clarity on something? Sorry. When you first found out that the dockets are missing, did you go to the police station and verify that for yourself?
No, sir, I did not.
Did you ask the investigating officer, I'm hearing rumors that my docket is missing?
No investigating officer had been assigned at the time, sir.
So you were not given particulars of any policeman?
None, sir.
Including the one that you spoke to?
None, Commissioner.
So, but the long and short of it is you never asked the police station whether your dockets are missing or not?
No, Commissioner, I did not.
You concluded that whoever told you that they have been intercepted is telling the truth?
I took the word of a really good man, sir.
Who's not here to tell us whether or not he told you that.
I see where you're going, Advocate, and if there's one thing that I'm familiar with is death. Unfortunately, he's not here.
Well, let's just understand what then happens. When you speak to General Patikile, do you tell him that General Lincoln told you that the dockets have gone missing?
May I? No.
Why not?
I don't want to compromise General Lincoln at the time because he's an important source of information for me. All the time. All the time.
But if he's the source of information of what you consider later on, which you describe as a cover-up, why not say to him, I got this information from General Lincoln? It's credible. It's not as if I'm thumb-sucking this, because obviously as a member of the public, you wouldn't ordinarily know that. Somebody would have to tell you that your docket has gone missing.
No, you are 100% right in that regard, but the short answer is if I had to give people away, if I had to give Andre Lincoln away, chances are we'd never get information from within the SAPS again. I wasn't going to take that chance.
Sorry, what do you say? You don't tell General Patekile that your source is someone as reliable as General Lincoln. So you don't tell him who
No,
is your
Commissioner, I
source.
did not.
What is wrong with General Patekile saying to you, let me investigate? Because that's the answer he gives you. Why is that not good enough?
If I can make you understand, Commissioner Baloy, how few policemen we really trust. There's a reason why I was guarded about my approach to General Patekile and also the source of that specific information.
But if trust is an issue, why are you even speaking to him? Why didn't you just get onto a flight, as you finally did, a day or two later? Why don't you get into a flight and go to Orlando to lay your charge? Because you have trust issues. What's the point?
He's the provincial. He's the provincial commissioner.
Exactly my question. What is wrong? You speak to the provincial commissioner, as I would expect. I don't fault you if that's what you did. I'm not saying you did anything wrong. What I don't understand I don't hear from what you have said so far is on the very next day, after you laid a complaint, he says to you, let me investigate. What is so fundamentally wrong in that response from a provincial commissioner who's not at the station, who has no idea who gave you this information? He has absolutely, I'm assuming you would accept that he doesn't have any knowledge you assume that
I
at
accept
least.
that.
Yeah, he has no knowledge of this. So what is so fundamentally wrong when he says, let me investigate, that makes you say, I have trust issues and therefore I went to a different province and police station?
There was actually nothing fundamentally wrong in what he said, Commissioner. Like I said, I just thought I'd get more urgency out of it. If there was something fundamentally wrong in what he said, I would have written him an email or the minister an email. I would have complained because this to me was a serious issue. I just seriously expected just a little bit more urgency, considering who we're dealing with. Now, I understand 100% where this is going. I see the time on this thing, and it actually makes me wonder what's going on here. 8:05. I knew before then. So I don't understand that part. But what I can confirm is the dockets were taken.
And General Lincoln at the time wasn't in active service, right?
No, ma'am, he had lost both his legs, and movement for him was a little bit restrictive.
He had retired in 2021 already.
Wasn't it earlier than that, perhaps?
Yes.
I think it was earlier than 2021, I think.
Okay. So you were getting this information from somebody who was not within the police force?
Most of our information about what's going on comes from outside of the police force. I'll give you a very short example. You can actually make contact with Brigadier Kaz Gulam. I once called him on a Sunday morning. It was the most impressive police service I ever received. He's also retired now. And I called him, I said, Brigadier, I got news for you. I said, in Atlantis, at this address, in that yard, right on that spot, you're going to find 1,000 Mandrax tablets and a firearm.
Yes.
But that information came from outside of the SAPS as well.
Yes, but this is different. You are relying on the information now of a retired cop who had been in retirement since 2021. We are now in 2024. You don't make any follow-up with the station itself to find out whether the information that you're receiving from somebody who's not in active service is in fact correct, because it's not an official position that he's communicating. He can't. He's not a police officer in service at the time.
Like I'm trying to communicate to you, advocate, most of our information comes from people who aren't in the system. Andre Lincoln knew everyone. He knew every policeman. He knew every gangster. He was reliable. If Andre Lincoln had to tell me to duck, I would have dived to the floor. I had that much faith in that man. And I really wish he was here today.
Yeah, but in this instance, he was wrong because the docket wasn't missing.
Before I admit that Andre Lincoln was wrong, I would question if these entries here are not made later. Ultimately, the docket went missing. Whatever you and I go back and forth here, those dockets were found in Pretoria, in Peter Jacobs' safe. I don't want to accuse anyone of anything, but it would not surprise me if these entries were made later to try and cover somebody.
When were they found in General Jacobs' safe?
I heard that in the ad hoc committee. I can't tell you what date that was. Lieutenant General Sentimule confirmed that the dockets were in Lieutenant General Peter Jacobs' safe.
But it was after the process where there was a complaint that was lodged and it was investigated. That is why the dockets were assembled, because there was a complaint lodged either by you or on your behalf that the dockets had gone missing. Wasn't that the case? Isn't that why he was in possession of the dockets at that point?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. That is impossible. Peter Jacobs is the head of the service directorate. I had laid a criminal complaint, not a service delivery one. These dockets, I understand your confusion. Maybe I'm the one confused. These dockets, even if I had to lay a complaint and they were at the station, should have stayed at the station. They couldn't have moved. The first person that had to be assigned these dockets in court, in the chain of custody, was the head of detectives. He's supposed to assign it to an investigator. Peter Jacobs had no business with these dockets.
We'll get to that, but my point is that when General Jacobs has the dockets, it's because there was an investigation and Colonel Phillips was the one that was tasked with investigating, and Colonel Phillips reports to him. That was an official SAPS process, and you knew that.
What I didn't know when Colonel Phillips called me was that he reported to Peter Jacobs. I did not know that. I found that out much later. And the reason I was suspicious of Colonel Phillips and the reason I did not meet him is because even I as a layman knows that in the SAPS, a lieutenant colonel doesn't investigate a general. And that too was relayed to me by Andre Lincoln. He said it doesn't make sense. That is why I refused to meet that man and I was evasive towards him.
Okay, we'll get to that because I don't want to jump the chronology. We can then go to, we are now on the 30th, where you speak to General Patikile.
Can I, just so that we don't leave this place with misapprehensions of what might have happened, you seem to take issue. If you look at that 3881, you suggested in so many words that the second entry at 20:05 is suspicious because you were not at the police station at that time. Did I understand you correctly? Did I hear
The second
you
entry of 2005, ma'am?
Yes.
If I may, Advocate, Commissioner Beloy,
What
sorry.
were you saying about it? I just
No,
want to
what
make
I'm
sure I
saying is,
understood.
if the allegation is that Andre Lincoln might have lied to me about the placement of the dockets, I'm saying to the Commission, before I believe that Andre Lincoln lied, I'd rather question the time, the manner in which this time was written in. That is what I'm saying. And again, I don't have proof of it. I didn't carbon date it, but I'm saying to you that my faith in that man, it will not be shaken.
Yes. Between you and Ms. Ngube, you don't have to deal with it now. I think that note must be put properly to be what it is. It doesn't suggest, my reading of it, it doesn't suggest that you were at the police station at 20:05.
No, ma'am.
What it is someone is making an entry
Yes, ma'am.
at 20:05.
I accept
You
that.
accept that?
I accept
okay,
that.
Thank you.
And what you're saying is that, are you saying the entries on 29/10/2024 at 20:05 and 31/10/2024 at 8:10, which says docket received from Cape Town Central for perusal, explanation/complaint lodge, does not have elements of crime, complainants could not be reached for further interview. Are you saying that is also, you doubt that entry, that it was a contemporaneous entry?
Ma'am, unless that is Colonel Phillips writing it, that is not true. They never called me. SAPS never called me. The only communication I had regarding this was from Colonel Phillips, and I don't even think it was on the 31st. I could not give you a date, but I'm almost sure it was a few days later. So if they're saying here that the complainant could not be reached, that is a lie.
On the
Before you
31st.
leave the date, what happened to the documents that were in the envelope? Because you're now going to a police station to open a case on the basis of those documents.
Yes, sir.
What happened to them?
I held the documents in my office.
So you kept them in your possession?
Yes, Chief. Yes, Commissioner. For the simple reason that I didn't want to give it to anybody. I wanted to give it to the investigating officer, which is what I told the person who received my complaint. I said, when the investigating officer contacts me, he can have these documents.
So we can leave it at you did not give them to
I
the
did not
police
give it
on
to
the
them.
day.
And just that too was on the advice of General Lincoln.
But you did make copies of the documents.
Of the letter of loss and of the purchase, the payment of the heister. I made copies of those. Yes, I did.
Okay. At the time when you handed them over,
Yes, ma'am.
okay, not when you opened these cases later on.
No, not at the same time.
Okay, when you engaged IDAC.
Actually, when I received the call from the IGI, just throwing it back now, I realized that if I give this information to the IGI, I still have to speak to another investigating body. So there were 2 copies of I think it was 2, it might even have been 3, of General Madondo's business, and only 1 copy of each of the Lushaba matter. So I made copies of the Lushaba matter.
Okay. So then you say you spoke to General Patikile on the 30th,
I'm sure it was the 30th, yes.
and you're not happy with his response either.
I was not happy with his response, ma'am.
Okay, which was what?
We are going to investigate this. It was just so bland. Look, I must also understand this man deals with a lot. He can't be as enthusiastic as I am all the time, but I just expected more.
Okay. And then what do you do?
I called up General Lincoln, and we decided that we should lay it in another province. And at first, he wanted us to do it in the Northern Cape. But then I said to him, look, I've got some business in Joburg. I'll do it in Johannesburg.
Just explain the more to me. You say you expected more. You approach him. Must my assumption be that he knew nothing about the dockets?
Commissioner Madlanga, I'm convinced that he didn't know about the dockets.
Yes.
I was just...
Exactly. Now explain the more. So
I'll explain the more.
He says he knows nothing about the dockets. He says, I'm going to investigate. You say you expected more. Just explain the more.
I will explain the more. I think it's a me problem. if I get a call at 6 o'clock from this gentleman over here, and he needs assistance now, he has a problem now, if at all possible, I will not put it off till tomorrow. I'll come now. That is just the way I operate, and sometimes I expect everyone to do it.
Just explain, let's leave Mr. Adams aside. What did you expect, General?
I expected-
Just please wait for me. What did you expect General Particular to do?
I expected General Particular to tell me something like, I'll find out who take the dockets now, or come to my office, let's see what we can do, or I'll meet you at the station at 3 o'clock, or something like that, and I just wasn't.
No, remember, he's not at your beck and call. I understand this was something important, but you cannot expect him to respond instantaneously. If he says, I'm going to investigate, I just don't see what exactly you expected of him.
Well, within
Because
that,
you say in so many words that he knew nothing about the dockets. So it's like you wanted him, despite the fact that he knew nothing about the dockets, to still give you a response there and then and say, okay, now I know.
no, you are 100% right, Chief. And
I said to you, I'm not chief, please.
Oh,
Please
Commissioner,
just try to
Commissioner, sorry.
drum that into your head, I'm not chief.
sorry, Commissioner.
Yes.
No, you are 100% right, and in hindsight, I think I got carried away in the moment. That I do.
All right.
Commissioner, may I request, please, man, if someone can do something about that light, because I literally can't see when you're talking and when you're not talking, and this is causing me to interject.
For them to just move the light a bit.
Yeah, if they can just move the light a bit, because when you speak and you pause, I literally can't see that.
The one at the top.
That
there.
one, yeah. That's,
Can something be done, please?
I can see Commissioner Beloy quite fine, but you and Commissioner Kumala was.
I'm told a technician is coming.
Thank you.
Mr. Adams, thank you. Sorry.
Mr. Adams, it's okay if you see me there.
No, you are easy. You are easy to look at, Commissioner Beloy. You are easy to look at.